Hi everyone, here I am, and it's Monday and it's 12 noon, and thank you everybody for being here. It's Ingrid Thompson. This is Healthy Numbers Profit Lab private Facebook group, and we have some wonderful new members, so maybe some of you will be joining us today. I'm super excited to be talking about today's topic. It's Nothing happens until you decide. And I'm talking about mindset, I'm talking about money, and like, if you're here and you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. I heard a terrific expression this week, and the house that I'm in, and I thought I'd change my perspective today because I love this piece of work with the two dogs, and I'll put the link in the notes, in the comments about where we are. But there's a school next door, and I hadn't realized for the last month I've been using this place on a Monday, and it's so quiet. And today it's just lunchtime's just finished, so we just rang the bell. So the children for the last hour have been having quite a lot of noise. It's just beautiful. Anyway, I came across this expression, and it's called throw your backpack over the wall, and it's attributed to William Hutchinson Murray, and he was Scottish. And he was he was an explorer, and he loved to climb mountains. He loved being in the mountains, as you can imagine, in Scotland. And I've been talking in the past about the futures, about there being two futures, where we start here and, there's either this drift where we go down and we end up worse off than we are right now. And it doesn't happen immediately, it happens down. And then there's the futures, the green line, which we call a green line, and it goes to being in a different perspective from where we are now. And this idea of throwing your backpack over the wall is this idea that nothing happens till you decide. And the way we stay on the green line is by making decisions and by taking actions. And so, I'll put the photo of the model in the notes when we're finished. William Hutchinson's Murray, and he's got this fantastic quote, which I actually am going to read you the whole thing because I just think it's wonderful. He says, "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative or creation, there is one elementary truth, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would otherwise never have occurred. A whole stream of events and issues from the decision, rising one's favour all manner of incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man or woman," he wouldn't have said that, "would have believed would come his way." And whatever you think you can do or believe you can do, begin it. Action has magic, grace, and power in it. Now, I want you to say that with me. Action has magic, grace, and power in it. Type that in the chat for me, please, because I think there's something very powerful. That is going to be our mantra for this week. Action has magic, grace, and power in it. And truly, whatever you think you can do or believe you can do, begin it. Take the action, make the decision, and that's what keeps us on the green line. And I'll just give you a brief synopsis of William H. Murray. He was imprisoned for 3 years in World War II, and he had written his book about mountain climbing in Scotland, and he had been writing it on toilet paper, and he had the whole book. He had the whole book done, and the prison guards found it and they destroyed it. And his fellow prisoners thought he would be, completely, we use the word devastated now about that. Do you know what he did? He just started again. He got his pens out and he got his toilet paper out, and off he went and did it again. That book eventually was published in 1947, and he went on to write another one. So action has magic, grace, and power in it. Yes, please type that in. If you're taking notes with your pen and paper, write it on your pen and paper with your notes, and just action has magic, grace, and power in it. Okay, so what action am I going to encourage you to take today? Thank you. There we go. We're writing the quotes in there. That's beautiful. Okay, so I am going to talk a little bit about money mindset. The money mindset is our beliefs and our attitude about money. And there's many aspects that we could talk about this. And for the entire month of January, I've run 2 webinars about cash flow and expenses, and we've really seen some progress coming from those things. I've run in this, you can go back into the units and you can see we've been talking about pricing, we've been talking about discounts in the live webinars. And so these are the kind of the technical aspects of it. And you can add the numbers up and you can do the things with the actual money part. But the thing is, your money mindset actually is around the beliefs and attitudes you hold about money. And so here's the actions that I'm going to give you. We're going to have 3 steps from today. The first thing is to understand, do you have enough? And the question then is, focus for January was around how to calculate enough. Do you have enough? And calculate enough. What is enough? And, people say, oh, I want to make $1 million. Oh, I want to make 6 figures. What is enough? Like when you're in your business, what is it that you actually, have you calculated what enough is? So the first thing is, do you have enough? And the second thing is then, what is your profit first mantra? Now, I talk about profit first, and I'm going to run my next webinar is going to be about profit first. It's, in fact, one of the people on the webinar 2 weeks ago said, could I please run a webinar because he's got the book and he's never read it, and could I just make a webinar about explaining how it works? So I'm going to do that. So profit flows where attention goes. So here's your second thing today. So action has magic, grace, and power in it. And the second thing is profit flows where your attention goes. So I want you to make that note somewhere and type that in the chat for me. Say it out loud with me right now. Profit flows where attention goes. So you have enough, and then there's profit. And profit first talks about taking the profit before you then do the expenses. Completely turns the whole accounting model upside down. So the first thing is, have we got enough? The second thing is, what is your profit first mantra? So now let's combine them. I know what's enough. I'm grateful that I have enough. And my attention goes to money flows where my attention goes. So I'll give you an example. So the person who was on the webinar, who attended, and he had asked a question about multiple income streams, and we talked about that being the difference between the types of accountants. And so he, after the webinar, he came back to me and he said, I've put together an Excel spreadsheet to calculate my cash flow. And it's exactly what one of the actions was from it. He has also had a meeting with his accountant, and he has now identified what his multiple streams of income. He took action. The green line is about making decisions and taking action. Nothing happens till you decide. So until we decide that you're here, so you've made the decision to be here. So great, that's the first one. The second action is, how much is enough? Do you have enough? Having a profit first mantra. Profit flows where your attention goes. It is so true. Thank you, Alicia. It is absolutely so true. Lovely to see you here. Really looking forward to having our conversation together. And then the third step is, who else can I help? Now, there's this whole thing about, when we help others and we share what we have, it really changes what comes towards us. There's this whole universal energy. And I know if you're here, it's because you are the sort of person who knows what it's like to share your gifts, to share your wisdom, to share your expertise with your clients and with everybody. So when it comes to money, something happens. My mum, my gorgeous mother, used to say, it's made round to go round. And when you think of the coins, when you think of money, it's just a means of exchange, really. And she always said it's made round to go round. And so who can we help? How can you share your funds? How can you share your enough with other people? Donating, supporting. So even if it's tiny, 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 however you decide to share, that's part of it. So our 3 steps from today, we're going to throw our backpacks over the wall. And there's some really great examples of throwing your backpack over a wall. What it means is that you make your commitment that nothing happens until you decide. And so by throwing your backpack over the wall, now you absolutely have to get over that wall. So what is happening in your life? I'd love to know if you've got any questions. Happy to chat about it here. Can you calculate enough for you? That's the first question. And do you have enough? And then what is your profit flow mantra? And it doesn't have to be profit flows where your attention goes, but we know that where we put our energy is where we get the results. So So if you would like to see the replay, if the webinar replays, I'm more than happy to send that through if you haven't already seen those. Go back into the units. You can see the one about pricing. You can see the one about discounts. And so really getting a real grasp of what are the expenses that you have, what is enough for your business, and how do you generate that? And then making the decision that you're going to work on this. So I hope that's been helpful today. I love these Mondays. I love how everybody jumps in and pays attention and shares their thoughts with me. If you have any questions about that, I'm going to stay here for just a little bit longer. And I just, I might just read this quote again because I think it's pretty fantastic. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. I love that. Until you decide, there is the chance to draw back. And when we do something a bit half-hearted, and I'm going to full disclosure here, I sometimes get a bit half-hearted about things, and I go, I'm going to do that, but you know what? If it doesn't work out, I've got my plan B. And so, just last week, there was a few things that happened. I was walking along and I was thinking to myself, oh, why am I even doing this? And then walking in front of me was a man with a t-shirt on that said, never give up. And I said, thank you to the universe for just giving that to me, because the chance to draw back and that hesitancy, isn't that a beautiful word? I love hesitancy. And so when we fully decide we're going to go in, we take the action. And remember, action has magic, grace, and power in it. I love that. So let's leave it with that right now. Action has grace, power, and magic in it. And I love anything to do with magic. So what action are you going to take? Figure out enough. Do you have enough? Be grateful you have enough. Money, profit flows where your attention goes. So what are you going to pay your attention to this afternoon? Okay, thanks so much for being here, everybody. Ciao.